All right, so let's go ahead and get rolling. Couple of logistics to get started. I'll send everyone a link to the recording of the presentation, so you really don't need to take a bunch of notes or anything. Also, if you've got any questions, please just chat them in the box that's in this presentation, and I'll address as many as I can. I want to be respectful for everyone's time and not go too crazy with that. But if I don't get to answer something during the webinar, I'll get back to you within the next 24 hours or so to make sure I answer everyone's questions. All right, everyone, my name's Terry Michelson. I'm with Get Found Local, and today I've got the great pleasure to be talking to you about the 3 surefire ways to ignite growth in the next year, regardless of whether the economy is booming or busting. We've got a lot of great content to cover today, so let's just get right to it. So you might be a little surprised that the presentation is only limited to 3 ways to spur growth. Well, there really are only 3 ways to grow your business, seriously. But before I really introduce the 3 ways, let me introduce myself first. First of all, and this goes without saying, I don't know everything about growing a business. I'm sure I could learn a lot from everyone on here. But I have had a lot of experience starting companies, and I've been fortunate to have some that have had some pretty good success in my career. I've been doing, well, since '95, I've worked with just thousands of small businesses of all sizes, helping them get websites found, build lists of prospects and customers. So if you're wondering why you should listen to me, you can take that for what it's worth. I've also made a bunch of mistakes. Suppose that gives me some kind of a credibility too. I've run businesses in the toilet, but you know, these things happen. The other thing I've got going for me is this. I really love business, and anyone who knows me knows that I think, read, sleep, talk about business all the time. I probably dream about it and talk about it in my sleep. But you're not here to learn about my biography. You're here to learn about how to grow a business. So let's get back to the subject at hand. There's 3 fundamental ways you can grow your business, no more, no less. And the first one is really obvious, or seems really obvious. If you want more, you've got to get more customers. The method number 2 is to get more customers to buy more often. Don't worry, I'll go into more detail later of how you can do these, but for now the concept is what's important. If a typical customer buys from you once a month, you can literally double the size of your business just getting them to buy twice a month. Makes sense, right? And the third method is to get your customers to spend more per transaction. So if a typical purchase is, say, $5 a transaction at your business, how do you get that to stick? And you're probably thinking, yeah, those are really basic, obvious strategies, but no, this isn't over. Let's go a little deeper into them. Just don't overlook them just because they're simple, because there's real power in this simplicity. Let me walk you through an example. Let's say your business has 100 customers. They buy 5 items from you, and the average value of the transaction is $10. That would mean that you have a revenue of $5,000. Now let's say that if you focus on each of the areas and they're able to achieve 20% increase in each, now you have 120 customers, 6 transactions on average, and an average sale price per transaction of $12. Total revenue of your business jumps to $8,640. Pretty simple math. But that's a growth of 73% just by improving 20% in each of the 3 areas. And that's really the power of compounding. If we can make improvements in each of the 3 key areas, you're achieving an accelerated business growth. And if you can keep that going over time and increase each month and each year and keep growing by 20%, it really compounds quickly. One of the experts out there is a guy by the name of Jay Abraham. And if you've never seen any of his presentations or read any of his books, I really suggest you do. And again, his name's Jay Abraham. Most people's reaction when they hear the 3 ways to grow is, yeah, like, duh, that's obvious or something like that. And they really dismiss the idea because it's so simple. But if you're looking for 3 hard ways to grow your business, I'm sure we can come up with something. Hopefully you're smarter than that. Don't want to go for the hard stuff, but every business has an opportunity to improve in these three areas. Never have I come across a business that's really maximizing these. So stick with me and keep an open mind. So the next point you're really asking is, okay, how do you do this? Well, let's get into that. Just like the three ways to grow are really powerful because of their simplicity, I found there's certain things we can each do in our businesses in the three areas that are relatively simple, yet yield outstanding results. And the first one, getting more customers. One of the most successful or best ways we've found is by driving inbound traffic to your website. And by inbound traffic, I mean qualified prospects who either need or want what you have to sell and are in active pursuit of it. And I specifically say to your website versus your store or having them call you, because I believe that today, in this day and age, most customers start the buying process by visiting a website to get more information. So how do you drive more traffic to your website? You've got to leverage proven trackable forms of marketing like search engine optimization, email campaigns, social media, mobile marketing, and even your reputation. So let's start with search engine optimization, or SEO. SEO is the process of improving the visibility of a website or a web page in the search engines by unpaid, and it's also called natural or organic search results. Nothing more than that. It's just getting found when people are looking for you. Now, a lot of people don't exactly know what I mean, natural or organic results. So on this screenshot, you can see that this is a results page, also called a SERP, or a search engine results page. And you can see by the arrows that I've drawn on here that the paid or the sponsored listings are at the top and the right sidebar, and the organic results are to the lower left. And it's important that you understand the difference. The sponsored results have been paid for by somebody. These are paid ads that cost someone money to either show up there or when someone clicks on that ad. And with Google and their pay-per-click program, you pay each time someone clicks. And a lot of times those clicks can cost $30, $40, $65 per click just to get someone to your site. Now, the organic results are the results that Google believes are the best match for the search term you typed into Google. Nobody can pay to be there. And the organic results are what we're trying to get an impact with SEO. And we're trying to get the site to rank highly for the specific keywords that you're targeting. But why should you care about SEO? You can see from the stats on this slide that everyone and their brother is online. Most people start web browsing session with a search engine called Google, Bing, or Yahoo. Those are the big three. But don't ignore the other properties. There are a lot of people that are using other search engines also, even if they are smaller. 77% of searchers choose organic over the paid listings, and 67% choose organic search results when they're purchasing, which is why organic click-through generates a 25% higher sale conversion than pay-per-click ads. As you can see, the organic results, the unpaid listings, are really the place to be at because you're not paying for that click. And if you can get your website to show up in the top of the results, you're basically in a position that your competitors are not in. If you're at the very top, no one above you, you're the first choice and will get the most clicks. More buyers will see your website and they become customers. So the next thing that we implement is email marketing. And it's really overlooked by a lot of, and I'll even say most businesses, because they don't want to be known as spammers. And I'm not saying that you go out and spam everyone, but I really insist that everyone use email as a marketing tool to grow your business. When you work with a customer, gathering an email message to get them back is really powerful. It's another way to keep in touch with them. Matter of fact, it's probably the most effective internet marketing channel that exists. And according to the Direct Marketing Association, email returns $40 for every dollar invested. And I don't know of any place else that you can get that kind of return. But if you do it properly and really stick to the unwritten rules of adding value of every email and being respectful to your customers' time and their cluttered inbox, and we're all getting so much email, customers and prospects will really welcome you and want you to come into that inbox. You will drive new customer growth, and they'll come to you over and over if you have good offers and you stick to the right messages. So the next thing is social media marketing. No doubt about it, you've heard enough buzz about social media marketing to last you a lifetime. But there's a good reason for that. Social media marketing is one of the most important trends possibly of our lifetime and certainly of our internet lifetime. And it really presents an amazing opportunity for you to get new customers. Excuse me. Social media is really also a part these days of the SEO because we need a buzz. We need people talking about our business, our brand, and what we're doing. And customers really expect that you'll have a social media presence that they can engage with. And if you don't meet their expectations, you fall short of that, the chances are very likely that they're going to spend their money with the other guy down the street. If you look at these stats, buyers want to interact with brands on social media sites. So you can either join the conversation or let your competitors do all the talking. It's up to you. And social media can be anything from Yelp and TripAdvisor, where you're getting reviews, up to Facebook. And Facebook is huge. They're a huge search platform these days that people are looking for information. It's really important to mention that buyers that reward brands, or buyers do reward brands that have a presence on a bunch of social networks. So it's not enough just to say that you're on Facebook or you're on Twitter or you're on any of the others. If you haven't done it already, it's time to really get a social media strategy and put out on a number of the social properties. The next thing is mobile marketing, and I know that a lot of us are not doing this. It's kind of scary. People think they're spamming everyone. But mobile marketing is really a set of marketing practices that enable us to communicate and engage with our audiences, customers and prospects, in a way that's really relevant and targeted to them through their mobile device, their phones. And ready or not, the world's mobile. We've got over 50% of all people accessing the web, and they're doing it through a mobile phone as opposed to a computer. Matter of fact, the mobile marketing growth is just amazing. So if you look at location-based marketing, marketing that's targeted to an audience based on a specific location, it's to $6 billion this year, and that's from $0 in 2009. So the popularity of mobile marketing is really fueled by two things. Number one is buyer habits, which we kind of talked about, and equally important is results. And the businesses that adapt mobile marketing are seeing mind-blowing results and response rates. There was a study done by a company called Borrell Associates. There are restaurants out there that are seeing 65% redemption rates for real-time, geo-targeted ads. I mean, think what 65% of your prospects responding to a marketing campaign. I can't imagine any other delivery method being able to do anything close to that. According to research from mobisthinking.com, mobile ad spending worldwide will reach $20.6 billion this year, And you can see on the chart there's over 234 billion, with a B, billion, mobile advertising impressions in the fourth quarter of 2011. That's halfway from the start in 2009, basically. And that's a huge number, and it's just growing at an astronomical rate. I mean, mobile advertising like this is taking off like a rocket, and it's time to get on board with it. Why not be using it? So here's another piece. Let's increase your customer base by improving the effectiveness of your efforts. So if you're spending all your time and energy on marketing, you better make sure that the ads are working and that you're constantly trying to improve them. But how do you do that, right? So you got to get in touch with your inner bean counter. You need to get cozy with Google Analytics. Google Analytics is a free service. You can install it on your website. It has amazing information that allows us to track just about everything that happens on the site. But it's a matter of looking at it, tracking it, and measuring what happens so that we can constantly perform little tests to see what works best. So you take a magnifying glass out and sort through the reporting from the last email campaign or ad campaign, learn from the data, and find something to test and improve on it. It really needs to be a continuous process at your business, and looking at it at least monthly is just critical. Or you can find new channels to promote your business, and you explore this as you explore social media. You set up an email marketing account, and you can use places or companies like Aweber, Constant Contact. There's a whole host of these email marketing autoresponders, and you may have seen you got the re-invite this morning with information from me about joining this webinar. Sometimes it doesn't work exactly the way it should as an autoresponder, and that may have happened. I had several people asking me for that, or it hits the spam. But there's new marketing channels being developed every day, and some of them have really explosive potential. So you should set aside a little bit of time and budget for exploration and experimentation. Create some stronger, more targeted offers that appeal to more people in your market. When I say more people, you can really narrow these markets down and get very niche-y, if that's a word. Find people that are really interested in your offer, and there's a number of ways to do that by segmenting lists and keeping track of where you got a new lead, where people subscribed from. Did they subscribe when they picked up a free report from your site, or did they make a comment on a YouTube video? There's just all kinds of ways to segment this. But one of the best ways is to just gather your smartest employees and even some of your best customers and brainstorm new and improved offers that'll help you get a better response from your target market. And then remove the risk associated with buying from you. This is really a proven tactic that we probably all know about, but most of us, especially those of us in the service industries, don't necessarily do. Anytime a customer goes to make a purchase, they're either conscious or they are consciously or subconsciously weighing the risk of the risk-reward factors in their mind. And if the perceived risk is higher than the reward, then they don't buy. It's really that simple. So you have to carefully look at the way you're marketing your offers. Are you reducing the risk with buying from you as much as possible? And the best way to do this is to stand behind your products or services with a strong guarantee. And I know a lot of my clients really struggle with that. It's hard to say, gee, I just put in $3,000 worth of work. You know, it's an unconditional guarantee. But there's always something that can be guaranteed. It could be showing up on time. Little things help, really help. Final strategy with this is I want to share with you for growing customers is almost all businesses can take advantage of this, and professional service businesses in particular, is to grow your reputation as an expert. if all things are equal, people will buy from the person they believe to be the greatest expert. And how do you build your reputation as an expert? In my mind, the best thing you can do is to get testimonials or reviews online. And it doesn't matter if that comes from people that are putting it on your site, going to any of the travel sites or any of the reviews like Yelp or Google+. When someone sees, for example, the sign for your business in front of the business or a flyer or on a truck, most of the time they don't just type in www.yourcompanyname. Instead, they do a search on Google for your company name. And when they do that, a listing comes up that shows your reputation. And if your reputation's not very good, meaning it has some gold stars, or they see that you have bad or outdated reviews or not enough, which is at least 10, then they just do another search. And in effect, you've paid for advertising for your competitor to pick up a customer from you. Another one is just doing a webinar like this. Demonstrate your expertise. They're inexpensive to produce. They're really easy to deliver. They can be delivered to a massive audience. We find that they work very well. Another great way to build your reputation is to send out a regular newsletter to customers and prospects. Everyone should be doing this. I got to tell you, I dropped the ball on this. I don't do it consistently enough. I'm working with someone now who is kind of doing a coaching with me that's keeping me on track. But it's one of those things that everyone should do. A version email, and if you need to in print, it's just easy enough these days to do that everyone should be doing it. You have to be in front of them. Finally, create some videos and downloads your prospects and customers can access from your site. And video in particular is really cheap, easy, and it's very effective to reach a massive audience. Video consumption online is just soaring. YouTube is owned by Google. So what that does is it gets a lot of people to, when you put it on your site, first of all, Google gives it a little bit more credibility, but they also measure emails, what's going out in Gmail, what's being put on social media, are people talking about it? And one of the advantages to have a video on your website is that the longer people stay on your site and the more interactive they are, like filling out a form, downloading a report, anything like that, the more that people do on your site, the more the search engines recognize that you're a valuable asset and a valuable piece of information that people come to and want to learn more from, and they spend time there, which then means you should rank better because you are delivering information that people are looking for. Next thing, let's move on to real quickly, is growing your business by getting customers to buy more often. And the first thing, and I think this is the most important first step you can take, and so many people drop the ball on this, is to build your list. You've got to get in front of them, whether it's a newsletter, a postcard campaign, emails, whatever it is. You've got to build that list in order to reach them. And I'm always shocked to see that but so many businesses spend no effort building the customer list, getting emails and mailing lists, and it's probably the most valuable thing you can do for your business. There's an old marketing legend by the name of Dan Kennedy, and he says that customers generally don't stop buying from you because they're unhappy with your product or service, but because they've forgotten about you. And really the greatest marketing sin is to be forgettable. If you don't have a list, you can't get in touch with people and remind them that you're still open and willing to help them. Get customers to buy more. In order to do that, you have to build your list. And if you build it every day, set in some processes to ask for email addresses. You're not going to get them from everyone, But as you build it, you can keep them aware of what you're doing. And when you do mailing, use some scarcity in the messages, limited time, quantity offers, get your customers to open up their wallets more easily and frequently. And as you build a relationship with them, even though it's through social media, email, text messages, they will do that. They will open up and buy more frequently. And as you can see in this ad, the offer's for a deep discount, but only for one day. And scarcity like that really does work. But whatever you do, don't let them forget you. There's a couple of other ideas to take advantage of to keep top of mind. Set up a sequence of autoresponder emails so that you're staying in touch on autopilot and they know about all of your products. Autoresponders are one of the most powerful and underutilized tools that small businesses can use. You can write a sequence of emails once, put it on autopilot, and know that you're following up with all your customers and prospects. They just work. You're just getting in front of them over and over. And it kind of goes to some of that marketing that's been taught for years of say uncle marketing or stop it marketing, where you're sending messages to them. At some point, someone may say, I want to opt out, but give them that option. And when you do, they're able to get out, but you will pick up new and you'll get responses from the people that are on the list. And make sure you broadcast that same message through every available channel, not just one or two. Some people will look just at Facebook once a month, and others will email every hour. You've got to find the right balance for your business and type of business. But use a variety of channels. Make sure you aren't missing anyone, and you're not missing new people either. One of the great things is to send out birthday cards, holiday cards to your prospects and customers. These old school tactics are really appreciated in today's world of digital. I use send out cards. They're really awesome. All you have to do is upload your list, and you can set dates so that forever you will remember birthdays and anniversaries and all of the important dates. And when you do that, they stuff, fold, spindle, mutilate, whatever it is that the post office does. Send out a card, send a gift. It works really well. I can't say enough about that, about using something offline. And if you use like LinkedIn, there's ways to pull all that information out, because part of the info we've all put in is when our birthdays are. So you can grab that information with the right software out of LinkedIn and mail people. Finally, the last approach is really focusing on customer service and making sure your people are happy. Again, going back to reputation, if you've got a bad reputation or you get a bad review, it's like a kick in the gut the first time it happens. I know business owners that just lose sleep over this, and I don't know how the people in the the restaurant industry can do it and how they live. They get a bad review, and it might have been there were too many sprouts on a sandwich, something that was so easy to fix or so nitpicking, yet it goes online. And we believe there's a way to get people to give you reviews, and if they're unhappy, to fill out a form that sends directly to you so that they get a chance to vent without going on the major review sites like Yelp and TripAdvisor. And if they're happy, they have a way to actually post to them. But it takes a little bit to get there. So get your customers to buy more. Create a culture of service at your business. If you focus on that and focus on service excellence, you'll really stand out head and shoulders above competition. And it means more than standing up in your next networking group or chamber group and saying, our business is different because we give great service and we take care of our people and we have low prices. Yeah, everyone says that. It really comes down to what do you do that makes you stand out. And when you do, make sure you get those testimonials from happy customers and share them with the world. I mean, testimonials are a form of social proof that make it easier for people to buy from you, and they get more comfortable. I think a great service and great testimonials are the cheapest form of marketing and maybe the most effective. Again, if somebody searches for your business name and sees that you have positive testimonials, that shows up in Google these days, and that helps people click through and they're comfortable to come to your site. Get your customers to spend more. How do you do it? Well, upsell, cross-sell, bundle. When somebody buys one thing, you ask them if they want fries. That's probably the most classic cross-sell and upsell technique, but we can all do this. And people always say that, no, there's no way to do it in our business. But when you look at who does it, I mean, the master of this, of bundling products and services and giving a discount for purchasing it that way is really powerful. I mean, if you've ever been to Costco, you know you can't buy one thing. The way they get such low prices is by getting everyone to buy in bulk. You don't get a single gallon of mayonnaise. You're buying 2 gallons of mayonnaise, basically. You get a deal, but you're really spending a lot more or having a much bigger transaction to get it, and that's really powerful. You can use coupons, but they don't have to be standard, come in, get 10% off. You can make it that only apply once they reach a certain spending threshold, like this one is 20% off, but only if you spend $125. And finally, you should have a premium priced version of whatever product or service you're offering, and you might even put a payment plan together for that, because selling a handful of really premium priced products can do wonders for your profitability, and there's always a segment of your customers that actually want to spend more to make sure they're getting the best, and you should never deny them the opportunity. It also gives them an additional choice. So if they don't know if they should just buy the one product, they can see that there's one above, and they may feel more comfortable and actually make the purchase for your lower product also. To close it out, I'm going to leave it with you with a couple of tips that have worked well for me as an entrepreneur. This one's been huge for me, and I've always been a big believer in the power of technology to make our businesses more efficient and more profitable. And small businesses, we're all small business operators. We really need to look for every advantage we can to save time, cut our costs, get more done. And that's exactly what technology can do. So make sure you use those tools out there, the send out cards and services that can help you get online, that kind of thing. So, all right, this is a little bit hokey, I agree. How do you eat a whale? But it's an expression that always sticks in my head of how do you eat a whale? And, of course, the answer is one bite at a time. And building and growing our businesses is a long-term process. It's about taking a bunch of little bites. Pick one or two things. Get started today. Just look at your pricing or look at your service and see what you're doing. Start on one and don't quit. So if you think in three particular phases here, actually, let me back up a little bit. So role models have always helped me in a lot of ways, and I can't possibly count all the ways they've helped, but they're really important. If you don't have a role model or a mentor, find one. They're easy to find, and most, if not all of them, are really gratified at your request to ask for help. And even if you don't establish a personal relationship with someone, you can still be on the lookout for businesses that are doing like a really great job executing strategies, and you can learn from them. One of the most important lessons I've ever learned is to keep things simple. And to do that, I break down how I view the business into three phases. And I learned this from an old marketing legend, and he teaches people and me to think in terms of what happens before a customer buys, during the process of using your product or service, and then after you're done or they're done with your product or service. If you think about it in those three phases, it gets to be really easy to look for the most important customer interactions in each phase, and then you can optimize the heck out of those and improve in those areas, and you will see growth. So, all right, that's kind of the end. We made it. I believe we kept it under 30 minutes, which I really wanted to do. I hope it's been helpful. Appreciate the time you took out of your schedule to be here with me. Let's take what you learned today and apply one thing today or tomorrow, and let's not stop learning these things. So if anyone has any questions, there's the little chat box that's involved with what you're looking at or what you logged in with, and you can type a message in here.
I'm sorry.
All right, so one of the questions I got is, when you're doing search optimization, where do you even start? And my answer is this. When you're looking at a search optimization plan, the number one thing you have to do is to understand who your buyer or your customer is. And then we have to figure out what keywords they would use to look for you. So if you're you're a printer, for example, just getting the word printing probably isn't a good word, or travel, just the word travel isn't. But if you can really boil that down to swingers on Caribbean cruise travel, that really narrows it down and will help a great deal to find out or to find people. And from there, we can do keyword research that really expands what people are looking for. And the more keywords you get found for, of course, the broader your net is that you're casting for people to find. Let's see, in emailing. So how do you build a list for emailing is asked. And the best thing that we find is just to ask. We have a client that does wholesale, sells product wholesale, and every time someone calls in or asks for a product and order, they ask for an email. And sometimes people don't give it, don't get all hurt over it or anything. Just ask consistently. And at some point they may give it to you, they may not. But that's one way. And another way is once you have that, really guard that. Don't share your list with anyone. There are also ways, and some of you may have been invited this way, is by pulling emails from LinkedIn. There is software out there that helps you pull emails, and as I mentioned before, things like birthdays, so you can track the information and you can build lists that way. All right, I'll grab this one last question, and that is, actually I've got two that I really want to cover. Terry asked me, how do you load Google Analytics to your Facebook or web page? On your web page, Google, when you sign up for an account, you sign up for a Google Analytics account, and if you just Google Analytics, that will bring you to their site. You log in. If you have a Gmail account, it's very easy. You just log in and it'll use the same information. That's the preferred method. And by the way, if you start working with another company then, they don't have to set up a new account. You can just add them to your account as a user so they can see the information, and you can share that with employees or anyone. And if the relationship ends, you can take them off. So if you ever work with like an SEO company, don't let them make you think that there's another way. Anyway, when you sign up, you get a little piece of code that's just a couple of lines, And in WordPress, there's an area to just drop that in. A lot of times, like Facebook, you can't put your Google Analytics on Facebook, but what you can do is create like a landing page or know that there's a page that when they click from Facebook to you, it'll come to you. Facebook does have something called Insights that you can see how many people have looked at you and see those pieces, at least on campaigns. All right, this last question I wanted to cover is people ask all the time, how in the world do you get reviews from customers? And again, the answer is the same as email, so you ask. But what we find is really powerful. We take a postcard and put like a QR code, and if you don't know what that is, it's a little square that looks kind of like a barcode. And mobile phones, any smartphone, has an application. You point at it, click on it, and it'll open a email or it'll put your contact information into their phone, whatever it is that you ask. And when you do that, we have them go directly to a page on their site. But getting back to, I guess, the crux of that question is we use postcards and table tents and emails. And if you have a way to change the URL on your receipt, we use all of those things. We have a list of probably 20 different ways to do this, to gather them. And they work really well. Getting people to do it and asking consistently, dropping it in a box when you ship, leaving it with someone when you fix their air conditioner, all of those things really help. All right, thanks, everyone. If there's any other questions, I do see, let's see, Brian sent one in. Yes, I will send out a copy of this to everyone. And thank you so much for showing up, everyone. I appreciate it. Take care.